Firstly, good morning, everybody. My name is Katie O'Neill, and I'm the Marketing Manager for the College of Engineering and Architecture. And today, I'm going to be your host. Firstly, I wanted to extend a warm welcome. Today is a very exciting day, and it's the start of a new journey for you all here at the UCD College of Engineering and Architecture. But before we get into the formalities of today, I wanted to show you a short video and give you a little bit of background to the video so it can give you some context. UCD was founded in 1854 by John Henry Newman. And around the same time, he was writing a book called The Idea of a University. And within this book, he talked about a concept called true enlargement of mind. And this concept was a vision to provide a holistic experience and an inspiring environment which went beyond the classroom to prepare students for a role that would benefit wider society. And while true enlargement of mind is a lovely 19th century expression, we have translated it today for think bigger, go further, learn more, or think bigger for short.
True enlargement of mind. The foundation upon which everything we strive for has always been built, enabling us to journey out beyond the stars, deepening our knowledge of the universe, seeing our world in a different light, and truly understanding the immense challenges it faces. Challenges we confront through thinking bigger, going further, learning more, and all the time deepening our sense of who we are, through exploring our creativity and curating and preserving our rich and varied past. It's not in our nature to stand still. We want to be the very best we can on every level, impacting the world and changing it for the better. Because when we open our minds and let loose our imaginations, the scope of what we can achieve is limitless. All that's needed is the right environment. UCD. Think bigger.
So without further delay, I would like to welcome our Dean of Engineering, Associate Professor David Timoney.
Thank you, Katie. I hope you can hear me and see me. I'm just going to share my screen here with you. So hopefully you'll see a slide that's familiar from the last one. So just to explain that my name is David Timoney. I'm Associate Dean of Engineering. I have a few other hats as well. I'm the Vice Principal for Teaching and Learning in the College of Engineering and Architecture. And I also run one of the degree programs that some of you may be signed up for, which is the Master of Engineering in Energy Systems Engineering. So I'm familiar with the details of new students starting, joining new programs, and so on. So my first point, by the way, I'm also an associate professor in the School of Mechanical and Materials Engineering in UCD, and I have been for a very, very long number of years. So firstly, you're really all extremely welcome to UCD. You know, we really like having talented people to come here to be educated, and nothing gives me greater satisfaction, as I've watched in past years, of graduates leaving, and through LinkedIn in particular, I can see the extraordinary careers that they're pursuing, and that gives me great satisfaction, justifies all the work we do here. So we hope you come here, you enjoy your experience, you get an excellent education, and of course that you're then prepared for some great things in later life. So as you know, in the last year or so, university education has been highly disrupted, and most of it has had to take place online, and you know, this is really not very satisfactory. So our absolute intention and hope and plans are that all changes completely for this year. So just to kind of, I was going to explain a few details about what we're planning. And so I have a note here, return to campus for autumn 2021. Just, this is a quick summary. I'll give you a few of the details later. First thing is that, we're expecting essentially everything to be face-to-face, face-to-face teaching to return in full. On-campus timetable will be operated as published. And obviously that's a very, very big change from anything that has been deemed possible. And it's really because of the extraordinary state of vaccination and so on in Ireland. Over 90% of all adults in Ireland, I think, have now have been double vaccinated, etc. And the decision that the university has made is that, well, we have to go back to normal at some stage. The time is now. Obviously, there may or may not be a few hiccups. We can't tell, but this is the firm intention. So students, therefore, are expected to be here on a full-time basis to attend lectures, laboratories and tutorials and whatever else. And of course, to meet each other and to interact with each other and to work in groups so online access in general is not to be supported, although a lot of our lecture rooms, not quite all, will be fitted with a lecture capture system. These are systems we installed over the last year in order that students will be able to review material afterwards. Now, that's not guaranteed in every coverage for every size of class, but particularly the bigger size rooms will have this facility. So the full room capacity will be used, all the seats will be used, no physical distancing is being required. This is the UCD plan for this season. Anything else would have meant that the participation was incredibly reduced. One thing is we're taking a lot of steps to try to ensure that everything is safe for when you're here. And in particular, as a lot of work has been done on the ventilation of rooms. I've been sort of personally trying to lead a campaign in the university for better ventilation. So I have my personal CO2 monitor here in my room, as I'll carry with me to a lecture too, is an indication of the freshness of the air. So the one constraint is that face coverings or masks must be worn at all times. The only exception to that is lecturers, instructors who are teaching a class but are at least at 2 meters away from the nearest person. So this is the kind of quick summary. I mean, there's an enormous detail on university websites about this, but I'm trying to kind of give you an indication of the practicalities. So at risk of maybe overdoing it, but basically there's a website that describes the issues around the physical distancing. I'm not going to go through all of this in detail. It's really just more detail on the summary that I've just given you. Face coverings, explanation about that, and things like if you're moving through buildings or queuing or whatever you are, that face coverings anytime indoors, basically. I mean, and this is for the foreseeable future. We don't know how that's going to change. Just a word on timing of lecture sessions and so on. We have reduced the duration, the standard duration of our lectures. It was usually 50 minutes. We've reduced that to 45 to give a bit more time for changeover. That's for students to circulate and leave and not meet each other and not be too crowded in corridors. And also that the lecturers may be trying to set up some more electronic systems to support the lecture capture and so on. So that's another issue. So basically each lecture will start on the hour. If it's 10 a.m. class, it'll start at 10 and finish 45 minutes later. Obviously, there are some longer sessions, where for laboratories or multiple lecture sessions in a row and so on. So there is a little bit of discretion there, but the intention is that people will be allowed to take breaks, in order to go outside, get some fresh air, take off their mask, etc. But there's also some downsides to that in terms of crowding in corridors that we're trying to avoid. There will be people assisting with the kind of management of traffic, human traffic in the corridors of buildings and so on. Just one thing I thought I might mention to you, that there are other guidance details that might be important, is if there is a sort of an outbreak or a positive test for a virus on behalf of somebody, the university is basically suggesting that if you've been fully vaccinated and you don't have any symptoms, that you do not need to isolate and you can come to the campus as normal. Obviously, if you're ill or if you had a positive test or whatever, there's significant other guidance about staying isolated from everybody during the time. Again, there's a link on the website there to guide you to that. And the key principle is that we're looking for people to take personal responsibility. So that's really the kind of quick summary of the issues. By the way, I'll just say a few words on the ventilation because it's my hobby horse. There will be CO2, carbon dioxide concentration sensors in the ducts of the air conditioning system. And there will be, you know, the aim is to provide about 10 liters per second of fresh air for each occupant of the room. And some rooms are mechanically ventilated and some have windows. And so, you know, there's arrangements made to have windows kept open and so on. And, you know, we're following guidance from building regulations in that respect. So in order to allow you to have the full on-campus experience, we're trying to call everybody in, do things as normal, but take sensible safety precautions. So just a quick summary. I mean, there are the websites and the guidance are being constantly updated, and I won't delay on that too much, but if you need to look anything up, please do, and it's loud and clear on the university website. So really, they're the key points I wanted to make. So as I say, really looking forward to having everybody back. I've moved back to my office in the last week. I've hosted a real physical conferring outdoors in a marquee, and it's just such a wonderful thing to have people back as normal in university. So we very much hope that will be the norm for you, and so you're all very welcome to UCD Engineering and Architecture. And thanks very much.
Thanks, Katie. Hello, everybody. My name is Owen O'Neill. I'm an Associate Professor of Environmental Policy and Head of the School of Architecture, Planning and Environmental Policy here in UCD. So we're all very excited in the school to welcome you here today. I know it's been a difficult year, but hopefully things are returning to more normal now. So whether you're pursuing architecture, urbanism and climate action, urban design and planning, regional urban planning, or environmental policy, or landscape architecture, we're hoping you're looking forward to commencing your degree programs and lectures next week. As David mentioned, it is returning to a face-to-face program and model of delivery. So that should make life much more normal as you move through the degree program. So as evident in the names of our graduate degrees, our school combines respective subject areas of architecture, landscape architecture, regional urban planning, and environmental policy in a single school with a strong focus on design practice in architecture and landscape architecture, and on research and policy in planning and environmental policy. And as you know, many of our graduate TOE programs are professionally accredited. So Institute of British Architects, Royal Institute of Architects of Ireland, Royal Town Planning Institute, Irish Planning Institute, Irish Landscape Institute. So there's lots of accreditation requirements, and you'll experience that as you go through the program over the year or two in case of some of the programs. In terms of staff, amongst our staff in architecture and landscape architecture, we have leading practitioners and award winners with established reputations, and our faculty in planning and environmental policy have gained national and international recognition for their research and for policy impact. And hopefully you will get to experience and discuss leading issues with all our faculty and staff over the coming year. We've also seen a number of new faces join our faculty over the last few months. Some of you may not realize this at this point. So Professor Nazreen Siraji has joined us from Hong Kong University over the last few months. Dr. Ellen Rowley has joined us. Dr. Philip Crow has joined us. So they're all teaching on programs in architecture. Dr. Aura Estrada in planning, Dr. Liana Ritchie in environmental policy. So they're all new names to the faculty teaching across a number of programs. And you'll also see many new faces amongst the Design Fellow studio practitioners. So we have lots of studio practitioners, about 40, who bring their professional practice experience into the classroom on a weekly basis. And in most of our programs, you'll also experience visiting academics and guest speakers from professional practice who bring their insights into the more conventional lecture classes as well. So we hope you enjoy your time over the coming year. We've been working very hard to make the programs the best possible and safe whilst you are on campus. You'll get more details about the program-specific protocols, particularly in relation to studio, that vary across the respective programs at your program-specific inductions, and they're all about ensuring your safety. So we'll ask that you do follow the guidance provided in order to protect yourself and your classmates insofar as possible. Lots of supports are available on campus, so you'll probably get some more information on these now over the coming speakers. But if you need any assistance, at any time, just talk to your module coordinator or program director, college program office staff, student health, career support, student counsellors, library staff. So there's a wealth of people available to assist you on any issue that you may have. And then for all the international students, there's also UCD Global to offer assistance. So whilst life is still a little different to what we all expected before, hopefully the restrictions will continue to ease back to as normal as possible, as is planned over the next few months. And I mean, as is planned by the government. So on behalf of all the faculty and staff here in UCD, congratulations on securing your place in your respective program. I'd like to welcome you and hope you have a really successful year ahead and that we'll be able to meet over the coming weeks.
Thanks so much, Katie. So hi, everyone. My name is Nicola Fortune, as Katie mentioned, and I'm here from the UCD Careers Network. So over the next couple of minutes, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our services. And then I'm actually going to talk about some things maybe that you can do to get started, to kind of get a jump start on the semester ahead. To start off, I'm hoping to show you a very quick video. So hopefully it'll play for me now. So we'll have a try, and if it doesn't, I'll just have to tell you in person. So here we go. Hello and welcome to the UCD 5 Minutes on Careers video series. My name is Nicola Fortune and I'm a Career and Skills Consultant here in University College Dublin. In this video, we're going to spend 5 minutes talking about the services available to students in the UCD Careers Network. Whether you're a first year or a final year, it's never too early to get started on planning your career. By getting started early, you can really make the most of your time here in UCD, and at each stage in your career journey, the UCD Careers Network will be there to help you connect the dots between where you are now and your future career. You can get started by visiting our website at www.ucd.ie/careers. Here you'll be asked to consider whether you feel you currently have no plan, a vague plan, or a clear plan. Simply click on the option that you think describes your current situation best, and you'll be guided through a series of practical actions you can take to move forward more effectively. For students who select no plan, this can include actions such as completing our free aptitude and interest tests, visiting sites such as Grad Ireland to find out more about jobs with your degree, as well as getting actively involved in UCD clubs and societies to build your skills as well as your CV. Students can also apply for UCD Advantage, a co-curricular award developed to formally recognise the skills students have developed through extracurricular activities such as volunteering, peer mentorship, society committee membership, and so on. For students who select Vague Plan, the next steps may be to start researching what different roles entail. You can get started by reading job profiles, attending employer events on campus, and gaining work experience, as well as by signing up for the UCD Skills for Working Life programme. This employer-led programme of workshops takes place over 8 weeks in Semester 2 and gives students an opportunity to learn more about careers-related topics, as well as about some of our largest graduate employers, with different employers presenting each week. For students who select Clear Plan, useful actions could include attending CV workshops on campus, completing an online practice interview, making an appointment with a career and skills consultant to discuss your plan, as well as keeping an eye on vacancies and upcoming events, including recruitment fairs, through Careers Connect. Recruitment fairs take place on both the Belfield and Smurfit campuses, starting from early in Semester 1, so make sure to check our website for this year's dates. Each fair will have employers from specific sectors, such as the Business, Finance and Management Fair. However, all students are encouraged to attend, regardless of what you are currently studying. You're also welcome to visit us in person. The UCD Careers Network is located in the James Joyce Library building, just in front of the main lake, right in the centre of campus. You're welcome to pop in any weekday from 9 to 5 and on Wednesdays until 7 p.m. You can pick up a career guide, get help booking an appointment, or even just have a look around. If you'd like to book an appointment for an individual meeting with a career and skills consultant, you can also do this online. Appointments last 20 minutes and go live at 8 a.m. each morning. You can book your appointment through Careers Connect. During this meeting, you can explore your options, develop a career plan, or learn more about making effective applications for graduate roles or postgraduate study. If you are applying for a specific role, you should bring along a printed copy of the job description, as well as a CV and cover letter that you've tailored to the role. To find out more about our services, you can visit the UCD Careers Network website or follow us on social media. It's important to remember that no matter what stage you're at in your career planning, we're here to help you take the next steps forward. You can also view the other videos in the series on our website, such as 5 minutes on effective applications and 5 minutes on interview skills.
Okay, so hopefully you guys were also able to hear that. I was just, I suppose, a little bit faster way for me to share the information than if I actually tell you in person. So as I mentioned, as well as kind of telling you about our services generally, I'm hoping to give you a few kind of, I suppose, pieces of homework or things that maybe you might get started on today just to get started on the trimester. So the very first thing I'm going to ask you to do is just take out your pen or your phone, it's probably in front of you, and just like us on social media. So the UCD Careers Network. So whether that's on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you use the most, just if you can like us, that'd be very handy. So that means instead of having to constantly go in and check on our website to see if we have an event coming up of interest, you'll actually just kind of see it popping up in your feed and you'll go, ah, that's an employer I'm interested in, so I'll go to that talk. So do just take a second to find us. So UCD Careers Network, and obviously the College of Engineering and Architecture as well. Later on, if you could actually have a look on our website, you'll actually see there's lots of resources there. So if you go to ucd.ie/careers, when you have a look around here, you'll see it's a new website in the last year or so. It's actually very useful. So some of the things that you might like to pay particular attention to would be our career guides. So on the homepage, you'll see that we have career guides, and one of them will be the College of Engineering and Architecture. So the new one for the year coming up is actually going up in the next couple of days, but do have a little look through because it contains some general information that's useful, like how to write a CV, but it also has the second half is actually specific to the college. So it actually has, say, maybe some information provided by some of our key employers, for instance, that you might actually find quite relevant. When you're on our website, if you can have a look on the upper right-hand corner, you can see something called My Career. So My Career is basically our platform that we use for booking things or for accessing things that are just for UCD students. So it's kind of behind the wall. So if you click onto My Career, you'll be able to do things like book those appointments, as well as book into those events that you might see popping up on your social media. So that could be an employer talk or it could be a careers workshop. And you can also use a range of different tools that we have there. So for instance, if you want to practice an aptitude test before you have an assessment center coming up, or if you want to use our Interview 360 or CV 360 tools, which I'm going to talk about in a second. So again, that's My Career, which is on the top of the screen. And you can also access My Career just through your SysWeb. So it's one of the icons that appears there. When you're actually in there, you'll have a look and you'll see there's lots of different events. So the careers events will be populating throughout the trimester. So you'll see that different events will actually go up like every week or so. So some of the events are planned a long way in advance. Some of them are actually planned within kind of a couple of weeks. So say, for instance, maybe an employer wants to put on an event in a couple of weeks' time. So it doesn't mean you need to kind of either follow us on social media or check in. So have a look through and see, is there anything that you want to attend? Some of the obvious ones that you might want to attend if you haven't previously done that would be things like LinkedIn, CVs, interview skills. For the ME students, just to flag, you'll automatically actually have sessions on CVs and interview workshops. So those two are already covered, which is something handy. Other things that you'd have a look at there. So we have 2 fairs coming up. So we have a range of fairs, but 2 that are most relevant to yourselves. So they're recruitment fairs. So we have the UCD Virtual Business, Finance and Management Fair and the UCD Virtual Science, Engineering and Technology Fair. So these 2 fairs are kicking off in late September. So again, I would log in, register to attend, and then what's going to happen is you're going to be able to create a profile about a week in advance, and that's a profile that employers can then see when they're actually in the platform as well. So do make sure to go in there a little bit in advance, otherwise if you're doing it on the day, it can be a bit rushed. I've also flagged an external fair there. So Grad Ireland is, it's not part of UCD, but it is an important organisation to know about. So it does graduate level careers. So if you have a look on the Grad Ireland website, you'll see things like their fair that's also coming up at the end of October, or sorry, the start of October. The reason I'm flagging these now in particular is because the graduate recruitment cycle actually starts extremely early. So some employers will actually be advertising roles from September to start next June or next September. So if you have a particular employer, for instance, that you want to work with, you need to find out when are they actually recruiting, because it could be actually quite soon. So do make sure to log on and see what's actually coming up. As I mentioned earlier on, we have lots of different tools available on My Career. 2 I wanted to flag in particular, which are very useful, are CV 360 and Interview 360. So CV 360 is, it's actually fantastic. So it's AI enabled. So what you do is you take your CV, you upload it to the platform. The platform will then basically process it. It's basically an automatic tracking system. It'll process it and then it will give you feedback based on about 50 checks. So it'll say things like, for instance, the length of it, whether you use certain keywords correctly, whether there's certain sections that you should or shouldn't include. So that's actually a fantastic start point. So it'll give you feedback, and then you'll have the opportunity to take that feedback on board, and you can actually upload it again, and you can kind of keep going till you're happy with your score. So it will give you a score, and ideally you want to be above 80% or so. So that's CV 360. Obviously, after you've done that, you're also welcome to make an appointment to get your CV checked with ourselves in person, but it's probably a really good start point to do it online first, because you don't have to wait for an appointment or anything. The other one I want to mention there is Interview 360. So Interview 360 is also, it's an online tool that you can use to basically do a mock interview, a mock video interview, and you can watch it back and it'll give you some general feedback. So there's some of the tools on my career. For any international students we have here, I want to flag this in particular. So Jumpstart is the name of basically an online resource that we designed especially for international students, and it's for careers information. So obviously any student is very much welcome to access it, and you can access it through our website. So it's open, there's no restriction on it, but it is designed with international students in mind. So for instance, you might have certain questions like, you know, what's the situation with working in Ireland after I qualify? So this would be a good place to get a head start. Or is there a certain way that Irish companies tend to like to see your application? So is there certain kind of conventions? So again, if you're an international student, log into the careers website and you'll actually find this under resources for international students. So that's Jumpstart. For our ME students, as I mentioned before, you're going to have some workshops automatically anyway with myself on things like CVs and interviews. But you'll also be getting contacted by my colleagues Eileen and Fionnuala, either soon or possibly already. So Eileen and Fionnuala are the academic internship managers who'll be speaking to ME students about their academic internships. So that will probably be kicking off quite soon, if not already, after happening. And then finally, the last thing I want to flag here is something that the Alumni Office, so the UC Alumni Office, are running a mentoring program this year. So it's the first time they've run this particular one. So it's for postgraduate engineers. So it's an interesting one in that it's kind of mentoring circles. So what happens is you sign up for it. It's online, so it doesn't take too long. It's 45 minutes. So it's online. There's 3 sessions. You go along, or you log into Zoom, and then you're put in a group with 9 other students and one of our alumni. And it's an opportunity to ask questions about the professional working world in Ireland, as well as for that alumni to share their own professional experience with you. So, and then you go along to the next ones, and obviously you're going to meet other alumni at those opportunities. So this is first come, first serve. So there is a limited number on this. So if you do want to take part in the mentoring program, I would strongly advise that you actually like sign up for it as soon as possible, like today, if you want to. So you can see there's a link, which I assume the slides are going to be sent around. You can click on there. But if you want to instead, you can actually contact Alex, who is from the Alumni Office, and I'm sure he'll be able to send you to him directly. So that's Alex Bulkey. So it's the email address is just there. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover today. I'm after including the careers at UCD email address is just there on the screen.
My name is Sue Philpott, and I'm the director of the College of Engineering and Architecture Office, and I'm going to just show some slides to you now, and I'll just run through them briefly. And I think I can show them now. Is that?
That's showing, Sue.
That's visible. Okay, great. Thank you. So everybody, you're very, very welcome here today. We hope that your time in UCD in the College of Engineering and Architecture will be an enjoyable and rewarding one, not only in the area of your academic achievement, but also in the area of your own personal development. As I said, my name is Sue Philpott, and I'm the director of the Engineering and Architecture College Office. My team looks after the student and academic support services for all undergraduate and taught graduate students in architecture, landscape architecture, engineering, planning, and environmental policy. And it's important to remember that our office is your first point of contact for anything to do with your program of study at UCD. And the purpose of my team is to help support you throughout your time at UCD, from admission, you've already met Michelle, right through to your graduation. We're located in the Engineering and Material Science Centre, but due to current restrictions, we can't take any ad hoc callers to our office. The best way to contact us is through our connector, the UCD Engineering and Architecture Office Student Connector. And I think many of you will have already submitted queries on that and will be familiar with some of my team. In terms of the autumn trimester, our college opening hours are as follows: from Monday to Thursday 10 to 1 and from 1:30 to 4 p.m. And in that time, appointments can be hosted, but a drop-in service will not be available. If you require a meeting with a member of the team, we'll facilitate meetings online via Zoom, and we can also meet you face-to-face. These are on an appointment-only basis. Face-to-face meetings, we have to book a place in our building, so it possibly might be slower to organise than a Zoom meeting. You can request a meeting through our connector. And our general office hours for email contact are from 8:30 to 4:30, Monday to Friday. And as I said, please use the student connector and you'll hear back from members of our team pretty quickly. I think some of you will have already heard from Caroline, Niamh, Valerie, Erin, Deborah, Shelley, Claudia, or myself. And we have people working in the background on an email all through the registration period and throughout the year. The main services that we can provide to you are with program and module registration, any queries you may have there. We link you with program directors, module coordinators. We help you with difficulties you're having with the online registration system. We can also link you in with pastoral support and provide you with support and advice in relation to all aspects of your university experience, university life. We signpost students also to other university services, perhaps access and lifelong learning or other services throughout the university, some of which are mentioned below. In general, we're there to help support students and offer academic advice, and we work very closely with all the program directors, and we can act as a conduit for resolving queries. We also manage the extenuating circumstances applications for students. We look after recognition of prior learning, any workload issues students may be experiencing. Also, perhaps if there's a case for a leave of absence or hopefully not, withdrawal from the programme. My team also manage the internships which are available to students on the Master of Engineering programme and some of our other programmes. We also engage with a wide variety of staff throughout the whole university. Your programme is linked to one of our 6 schools, and these will link you into, the hyperlinks will link you to the school contacts. Your school office is another point of contact for you, along with your programme director, as already said. If you want a one-stop shop, contact us in the first instance, and then we can point you in the right direction. My team also interacts with many different units across the university. We've already met Niamh from the Careers Development Centre. We engage with student advisors. You'll be meeting Julia very shortly. We work very closely with registry, all aspects of the UCD registry, such as our student records section, admissions, assessments, the conferring unit, and we also work very closely with UCD Global. So my team is linked in with all of the services throughout the whole university. So again, for advice and support, please contact us and we can point you in the right direction or work on your behalf to resolve issues that you may be experiencing. As you've already heard so far, there's lots of UCD speak, lots of jargon that you'll become familiar with over the next while: courses, modules, CRNs, module coordinators, program directors, etc. And now that you've secured your place on your course at UCD, your course at UCD is now known as a program. And per our UCD academic regulations, a program is an approved course of study, the successful completion of which leads to a university award. The award is conferred when the program outcomes have been appropriately demonstrated by accumulating the required number of credits at appropriate levels over an appropriate period of time, and all other program requirements have been met. And my team's job is to help you achieve that goal, to achieve your university award. So again, I'm labouring the point, but please use our UCD connector to get in touch with us. We hope that you settle in to your time at UCD. The last year and a half for many of you has been a very disruptive and possibly difficult time in your lives and in your study. And hopefully this period going forward, this next year, things will be relatively smooth for you and everything will go smoothly from a government restrictions point of view, and we'll be able to offer you full service across the entire campus, and that you can engage in your campus experience to its fullest. It's very important for you to make connections and have fun. And apart from that, also, there are some, I suppose, procedural administrative things you need to bear in mind. As we've mentioned previously, please attend your meeting with your program director. Please ensure that you complete your online registration. And if you have any queries about that, please contact us through the connector. Familiarise yourself with the UCD's COVID-19 FAQs for TUS students. They're linked from the front page of the UCD website, and all of these URLs are embedded here. Familiarise yourself with the UCD current student website, the college web pages for students. There's sections in relation to all of our graduate taught programs there as well. These are the student key dates, the UCD term dates. I have a link here to the UCD fees website. There's a link here to the university academic regulations, which underpin the structure of your program and how you conduct yourself through the course of your program in terms of what happens in completing your degree award and in case you have to repeat or resit modules, etc. There's a whole raft of UCD policies and procedures. I'm not sure anybody wants to browse them for fun, but certainly if you needed to look up anything in relation to a leave of absence or extenuating circumstances, this link brings you to the UCD document library, and that has all the policies and procedures under its domain. I've also included the college contact list here. And very importantly, I would ask all students to keep on top of your UCD Connect email. That is the official way which UCD will communicate with you. And it's really important. You will get regular emails, if you haven't already seen some, from UCD Registry, from assessments, from various different units within the university. It's also the official channel that we will use to communicate with you as well. And it's very important that you keep on top of the emails, because inevitably there will be email coming in from student societies and to do with other fun things happening around the campus. But the official emails will also be coming in on that channel too. And it's really important that you don't overlook it in the excitement of being a student at UCD. Finally, I just like to say, if we don't know what may be affecting you, we can't help you. Please don't be afraid to contact my team if you need any assistance whatsoever. We know that settling into a new program, into a new city or into a new country can be a challenging experience, and particularly coming as it is after a significant period of disruption to the world due to the global pandemic. Some of you may be feeling isolated and alone. Please reach out to the program office. If we can't help you directly, we will put you in touch with other people who can. I've included a link here about all the UCD supports that are available virtually. And these include links to the student advisors, to the careers office, to lots of other services that are available to all students throughout the campus. And it's important that you don't feel that there isn't somebody you can talk to. At any point in time, reach out. We will always be there and we want to help. And I just hope that you have a rewarding and an enriching time ahead, whether you are a 1-year or a 2-year graduate TUS student. I'm sure we'll get to know you all in due course. I'd like to thank you very much for taking time to listen to me today. I've included my own direct email address. As I've mentioned, the connector is the preferred method of contact if you have any program or registration queries. And I've also included the link to our own study web pages. And thank you for your time and best of luck, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay, well, I'm working on the principle that you can hear me okay, and I've got about 10 minutes just to introduce myself. My official title is College Liaison Librarian, and you're all very welcome, by the way, to UCD. And I'm the link between the College of Engineering and Architecture and the library. So I'm a dedicated library staff that has that kind of overarching kind of teaching aspect and kind of providing services and resources and making sure that you're kind of looked after as students. And what I'm going to do, instead of a PowerPoint, I'm going to show you how to kind of navigate through the library website. So this is our homepage, and you can see the URL here in the corner. You can see our opening hours. Okay, so in general, we have 5 library buildings. Now, Richview Library is a dedicated architecture library. The James Joyce Library is the main library, and that's where we would also hold things like an engineering collection. Now, predominantly, a lot of the library is also available electronically, and this is where we kind of look at our e-journals. We have lists of e-journals and databases. And one thing to keep in mind is that you actually have a really great opportunity in terms of the resources that are available, predominantly online. So I guess the onus is with you to kind of make sure that you engage and you kind of start looking at how can I do proper searching and evaluating that information as you go along. So in terms of the website, I just want to give you a few pointers. You can see that we have a chat service here that's available during library opening hours. At the top here, you can see some other kind of things we've, about exploring collections and using the library. This one here that says guides and help, I want to show you very quickly. There's a link here that says I'm a student. And within this link, you will find some study skills and some information around subject guides. So the study skills will cover things like finding and searching, evaluating information. But one, I think, particularly for kind of anyone at kind of postgrad level, is EndNote. EndNote is a bibliographic reference manager that we have made available to all students. And what we've done in this guide is that we've created, I suppose this is one positive that's come out of the pandemic, is that we've created a kind of a set of self-guided, self-directed tutorials. So again, I would ask you to kind of start to engage with this content and to, I guess, take that kind of opportunity to kind of see what's available. I just want to get back to my screen here for a second and just see what's going on there. Hang on, let me pull that down. So I just need to stop that for a second. All right, I'm going to go back to the share screen now. 1 second. Sorry, it's just not letting me get to the tab that I'm looking to get. So maybe if I close a couple of these things, hang on. We'll just move that there. Okay, sorry. Okay, so apologies on that. Right, so if I go back here to the library, I want to show you here. So this is very handy. We have an A to Z index, and on this A to Z index, you can find, general information about the library. There's one tab here if I go to N, and that's for new students, and it's a new student welcome guide. And with this here, if I open it, it'll run through kind of key information designed for you as students accessing the library. So it's kind of general welcome. Now we have created a library app. We've produced this year. And with that, you can do things like you can book a library seat in advance. If you're coming in to study in the library, you can do that in advance. Also, there's an option within this app to create a virtual library card, and you'll need that then for accessing the library. Or alternatively, you will use your U card to access the library as well. We have a set of FAQs here, for example, around kind of the key questions that you would have. So again, getting online and engaging with the resources that we have is really important. A couple other things around kind of getting started. There's lots of tips and information that we have made available, particularly around, if you look here around our kind of opening hours, but this one here I wanted to show you is called the availability dashboard. And what it allows you to do is to plan. Now you can see that we have, as I said, we have 5 libraries. This is available in 3 of the different libraries, the James Joyce Library and Health Sciences Library and Blackrock Library. And what it will tell you is what number of seats that are available, seats that have kind of PowerPoints, and also it'll tell you things like, for example, we use laptop loans. It will tell you how many laptop loans are currently available between the different libraries. Okay, so there's a lot that you can do in terms of planning before you come on campus, booking a seat, and then following those kind of guidelines in terms of, I suppose, working and studying in the library in a safe environment. And that's really important that we know for you as students. Now, I want to echo a couple of things that, like, for example, Nicola said about social media. A lot, if you can follow us on social media, the library is quite savvy in terms of updates, and we're on the likes of Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and so on. But that's a really good way to engage with the library. And then a couple of other things that we're working on at the moment. We have, for example, a virtual tour that's now it's not ready just yet, but what it will give you is the ability to kind of navigate your way through the floors, and you can get a look and a feel of the library in advance. And then finally, I just want to show you a couple of little things that are available specific to orientation. One is a prize draw. So if you want to take part in the prize draw, there's a quiz that's associated with it as well. And you can see that we have some fantastic prizes that are available. And that's open to all year 1 and year 2 students as well. And we also have a thing here called the Welcome Garden. So this year we won't provide physical tours of the library. However, we will have the following, which is a bookable. So you can book a session over the following 3 weeks, starting from next Monday. And it will give you a 10-minute slot with a library, with a member of the library staff. So what we would ask you to do is come in on your own and take a tour of the library, have a look around, and kind of write down the kind of questions that you would have, and then book this slot with a library staff. And then you can ask the questions that you may have around kind of services and resources we have in the library. And then, you know, finally, you can email me, you can, you know, contact me. I'm going to put my contact details on the Q&A, or sorry, the chat in a moment. But if you don't, I suppose the key point is, if you don't ask questions, if you don't come to our information desks, or you know, use the chat service or email us, if you're struggling with anything, there's no point struggling in silence. It is really a case of having to engage and ask for help, because that's what we're here to do.
Hi everyone, it's great to be here. Thanks for inviting. So we're here to talk a little bit about immigration. I'll try just to give you guys an overview. What I'm going to say in this session is basically for non-EU students. So if you are from any country of the European Union, or if you are from any country such as Switzerland, for example, the immigration system will not apply to you, okay? But if you are from any other country such as India or Brazil or Australia or anywhere else, then what I'm going to say next might be very important to you. So I am going to share my screen because I would like to show you guys our website, and I think it's a very good source of information for all our non-EU international students. So I hope you guys can see this. This is very easy to find. If you are looking for the website, to just go on Google UCD immigration, and it's going to be the first website there. So here we have loads of information about immigration from the start. So we have all information, for example, about, I'll come back here, the visa process, and then we have step-by-step about your checklists, about coming to Ireland and passing the airport control, and then registering, and then renewing your permission if that's your case. And then in the end, we have the information about the stay back visa or stamp 1G. So just coming back here, this is a video that I recorded. It's like 1 hour session. And in this video, I will explain everything about the Irish immigration system. It's really easy to watch. I use some resources, I use some slides there, so it's really easy to keep watching. So guys, please, if you are an international student coming to Ireland, or if you are here already, please take a look at this video, and then you're going to understand everything you need about the Irish immigration system, okay? So let's just take a little walk about these steps here. I assume that most of you have your entry visa if you are visa required national, okay? It's not all non-EU students who will need an entry visa. Some of you are going to be non-visa required, but if you are visa required, I hope you already have your visa, and if not, I'd say that you should contact your global center, okay? So if you are, for example, in Nigeria, you should contact the MEA at ucd.ie. If you are in India, please contact the Indian office. If you are in China, please contact the Chinese UCD office, okay? Now, let's say that you have your visa, or if you are non-visa required, then you don't need a visa, so you're ready to come to Ireland. You're going to have to pass your border control, which is at the port of entry. So for 99% of you is going to be the airport immigration officer who will allow your entry or refuse it. But I will hope that you guys are going to have the documents that you need and nobody will be refused. It's very rare actually that this happens, but it's important that you guys know what you should bring to Ireland, okay? So if you are still coming to Ireland the next few weeks, you should have your passport, you should have your offer letter, you should have proof of your medical health insurance, you should have some proof of fees paid, or at least some proof that you are planning on paying your UCD fees. And if you are from a non-visa required country, such as the US, for example, you should have access to at least 3,000 euros, and you must prove that. Okay, so a bank statement will do. It doesn't have to be even a hard copy. It can be like an online bank statement. Just please make sure that you're going to have battery and internet for you to be able to access it if you are asked to, okay? And accommodation details, because of course you're going to have to provide an address when you come to Ireland, mostly at this moment because of the pandemic and all the public health restrictions, okay? So many of you are already in Ireland, so your next step is actually the registration. This is something that really concerns students. They get really anxious sometimes about not being able to get an appointment, but the good news is that the system is changing at the moment. So yesterday, for example, they released loads of appointments. Many students were very lucky to get their appointments yesterday, but this is going to happen very often from now on. So please keep an eye on the website. For you guys to register, you must book an online appointment, okay? If you go there in our website, you're going to see all the links that you need to find the online system, and then you must attend the Berkey office with your documents for you to get registered, okay? Just a reminder that all non-EU students must get registered. It doesn't matter if you are visa required, national or not. All of you must be registered, okay? Now, for your registration, you must have some documents. So here we have a comprehensive list of everything that you should have. If you're having problems booking your appointment, my best tip is go every day at 10 a.m. in the morning, and then just keep clicking the refresh until 10:25, 10:30, and you should be able to get an appointment. That's the time when they release all the appointments. So if you insist a little bit, a few days, you should get your appointment. Now, don't get too desperate. Nobody's going to be deported from Ireland if you reach your 90 days and didn't get an appointment, okay? Just if you see that you're getting close to your 90 days, please start making screenshots of your trials of booking an appointment, because then if they ask in the future or when you get your appointment why you are registering late, you can show them that you are trying but you didn't manage to get an appointment. But that's also very rare. I'd say that most of our students get their appointments on time, okay? We're also probably going to have block appointments. So if you really didn't manage to get your appointment yourself, there is still this possibility that you might get a block appointment from UCD Global, okay? Now we're just going to go quickly about the RP renewal. I don't want to pass my time. So guys, remember that you're going to register this year. The stamp 2, which is the student permission that you're going to be given, usually lasts for 12 months. So if your course is longer than that, you're going to need to renew your permission to stay in Ireland for another 12 months. Now, remember that you have to pay a 300 euro fee when you register, okay? Right there. And you also have to pay a 300 euro fee every time that you renew your permission. So please keep that in mind. Once you have your stamp 2, you are allowed to work as long as you also have a PPS number. And somebody asked in the chat, so I'll just mention this quickly. Non-EU students who are stamp 2 holders or student visa holders cannot be self-employed, okay? You cannot engage in any business, you cannot open your own business or do this kind of stuff while you are a student with a student visa in Ireland, okay? Now, just quickly talk about health insurance. So for the students who are here for short courses, you can just get a health insurance that's much cheaper. That's around 160 or 100 euros, 180 euros, sorry. If you're here for a longer course, your health insurance is going to be more expensive. It's going to be around 500 or even 600 euros for the year. Okay, so please arrange that, because you are going to need a health insurance even before you come to Ireland, or what I mean is you must have your insurance valid when you land in Ireland, okay? So you might be asked about your health insurance at all moments. You can be asked at the airport. You are definitely going to be asked about your health insurance for your registration. You're going to be asked for that at your renewal. So all students who are non-EU students should have private health insurances that are in line with the immigration rules, okay? So if you go here in our website, again, here is students from outside the EU, EEA, you're gonna have loads of information here, and some of the companies or the brokers that we know that deal with student health insurances. So please come here and take a look if you don't have health insurance yet, and travel insurance will not be accepted, okay? Now, just quickly about the Stamp 1G. The Stamp 1G is the stay back visa. Many students know it with this name. This is the stamp or the permission that will allow students who are international students from abroad and outside the EU to stay in Ireland and work for any employer that they would like without the need of getting an employment permit, okay? This is a brilliant program. It's very, very important that you guys are aware of this. Of course, you have to finish your course successfully, okay? Please don't fail any courses or you cannot get your Stamp 1G after that. But it's a very, very important program, and I think you guys should take a look. We also have actually a dedicated page just for the Stamp 1G, and you have loads of information here, all the information that you need, all step by step, and it's a brilliant thing for you to keep in mind during your studies. All right, so I'm just going to stop sharing my screen, and I will put in the chat the link to our Facebook group, because we have a Facebook group that is intended just for immigration. So it's very important that you guys join this group to get information, for example, about, let me just see here, everyone, about block appointments. I post a lot of news about immigration. I post a lot of, if there are any changes or notices from the Department of Justice, then I'll be sharing information there. So if you are a student who will be going through the Irish immigration process in Ireland, please join our Facebook group. I will also put my email in there if you have any issues about your arrival in Ireland or your registration renewals. You can contact me, okay? My email is lara.morais@ucd.ie, and I am always available for any immigration issues, all right? So
okay, so as Katie said, I'm an associate professor here, but I'm also the vice principal for equality, diversity, and inclusion. And that means that part of my job is to examine data, gather data around issues that make this a good and nice and friendly and effective place to study and to work as well. So in this particular talk, we're going to be talking about dignity and respect, which is something that we've focused on recently. We've renovated our policy on this. And what we're getting at here is just making this a good environment to study in. Okay, so the kinds of behaviors that we're talking about here are listed here. So this is anything from intimidation or attacks or sexual advances, all the way down to just kind of exclusion and you know, kind of lower level hostility. And what we'd like you to do is to just feel that if you are in a situation where you feel that anything like this is happening to you, that you know what to do about it and that you're not going to suffer in silence. Okay. And equally, if you're seeing a classmate go through something like this, that you would be in a position to talk to them and advise them on where to go. Okay, so first port of call is the dignity and respect policy. There's a link here on the slide. I believe the slides will be made available to you afterwards. But at worst, you can just Google dignity and respect and UCD site, and you'll find this pretty easily. So that'll give you information on the kinds of supports that are available. Just talk about those briefly in a moment. It'll talk you through informal and formal processes for making a complaint. Okay, so I'm going to particularly talk to you here about informal support. So before you escalate something to a formal complaint, that you would try and deal with it in a number of ways. So the first thing to do is to go talk to somebody. Okay, so get some advice, and there are loads of people you can talk to. So this starts with, for example, your head of school, an appropriate associate dean or program coordinator. Okay, you'll be in touch with these people around academic issues anyway. They have some training to help them to deal with these kinds of problems as well. Then each college has its own student advisor or chaplain. Our student advisor is the lady who'll be talking to you in just a moment, Julia. The student union also has supports. There's a link there on the website, but they have a welfare officer, and they deal with complaints and interface with the college and represent students in those situations as well. The Student Health Center also has some counseling services and some supports available. And finally, within the college, we have our own equality, diversity, and inclusion structure. So that starts with me and well, with the college principal, and then down to me, and then each school has their own representative. And the link there will tell you who the local EDI rep is for your school. So you're in a position to talk to them if you need to. They've all been trained, all the staff have been trained in dealing with unconscious bias, issues around dignity and respect, and all sorts of issues that have come up in the past and will come up, okay? I mean, people are human. Interactions are hard, but we do our best, and we have structures in place and policies and supports to try and smooth all of this out as much as possible. So then, aside from talking to somebody, the other thing you can do is talk to the person who's causing you some grief. Okay, now that's if possible. Obviously, there are situations where that person is not going to receive that sort of thing well. But in general, particularly for smaller things, your first port of call is to recognize that the other person is possibly acting out. They may not be thinking. They may not be aware of their behaviors in some situations. And so sometimes just a quiet chat can sort things out. If that doesn't work, you escalate and you talk to the kinds of people we talked about just a moment ago. And then beyond that, there are formal complaints procedures, and you'll find videos and advice, and also the people I talked about in the last slide. They will all also be able to point you in the direction of formal complaints if you ever need that process. It doesn't come up too often, but it's good to know it's there if you do have an issue. And in general, I mean, the thing to think about with this stuff is, imagine a good friend of yours or a brother or sister of yours maybe was going through some something, right? If they were being treated in a particular way, how would that make you feel? Well, whatever that is, that don't act like that to somebody else. Okay, so be conscious of your behaviors, be conscious of the fact that you're in an international setting, that people have different norms around all sorts of things, and therefore it starts with communication. And if the communication fails, we have the supports there to help you.
All right, so please let me know if you can't hear me. This is just an introduction to who I am and a little bit about the student support that's available on campus. My name is Julia Marr. I'm the student advisor in the College of Engineering and Architecture, and it's lovely to meet you all virtually. I'm looking forward to meeting you over the next academic year. So a little bit about who we are as student advisors. What does a student advisor do? There are student advisors attached to programs across the university. And like I said, I'm very fortunate to be your student advisor in engineering and architecture. I support students who are studying undergrad courses and taught master's courses. And I have a colleague who supports students who are in at the research level. So what do I do? I think the main thing, the most important thing for you to know is that I'm around, and I'm around to support you. I offer confidential support. So if you want to come in and have a chat, what we talk about is between us. I can assist students who are having challenges or facing challenges with social, personal, or emotional issues. I can chat to you about the UCD policies and procedures. And I work closely with colleagues across the university to support students, to support you. So what does that really mean? So you can talk to me really about anything on your mind. And please keep that on your mind that I'm here. We can chat about your well-being. If you have academic concerns, so sometimes students talk to me about time management. If you are applying for extenuating circumstances, your module coordinator of the college office might suggest that you come in and have a chat with me for some support. If you are facing financial difficulties, I can talk to you about the supports that are available. And hopefully this will never come up, but if you are facing disciplinary issues, again, we can chat about the policies around that, what to expect if you are in a process like plagiarism process, and I can be there to support you if there is a disciplinary meeting. So again, hopefully that doesn't come up when you're here, but if it does, I'm here to talk you through it. So I think the main thing to please take away from this is that it is okay to ask for help. It's all right to ask questions. It's okay to put your hand up and say something isn't quite right and that you're looking for some support. That's what I'm here for. You are all either new to the program, you might be new to the country, new to the university, new to the city, and there might be a lot of things that you're wondering about. And there are an awful lot of people who are here to support you. So please do get in touch. And have a chat. It might be, if you're struggling, like I said, a module coordinator might suggest that you get in touch. If you're concerned about a friend or a classmate and you'd like some support on how you can support them, do get in touch. And if you talk to somebody in the university and they happen to not be the person who can answer your question, they will help you find the person who can. So please do, don't be afraid to put your hand up and say, I need some more information or a reminder about how to access supports, or do feel free to check in with me. Where can you find me? So my office is in the Engineering and Material Science Centre, and for now I'm meeting students by appointment only. You can get in touch with me by sending me an email, or you're welcome to book an appointment through my online calendar. I'm going to have a sign up in my office door this week with a QR code. So if you are in the building and you want to make an appointment, you can just zap the QR code. You'll find my calendar there and you can book in straight away. I'll be offering both in-person and Zoom appointments, so we can have a chat about your appointment needs when you get in touch. But really, I am around. I'll be working some remotely and some in person over the semester. So like I said, there are plenty of people around to help you and to support you. And I'm just going to show you some of the resources that are here on campus that you might be interested in checking out while you're here. You might need to check out while you're here. So there is a UCD Health Centre. and you can book directly through them. There's UCD counselling, and counselling is free to students here on campus. So if you do need to access a counsellor, don't hesitate to get in touch. It is a great service, and really, if you need it, it's there for you. You can book appointments by phone, or do come in and chat to me if you're interested in learning more about accessing that service. There's the chaplains. They're also here to support students. They're very dynamic. They have a lot going on in terms of kind of events and activities. They offer pastoral care and spiritual direction. There's UCD Access and Lifelong Learning, and they offer disability support. They have a laptop loan scheme, and they offer academic skills workshops. There is a writing center that's there for you as well, and it offers one-to-one tuition. And there are financial supports. So particularly if any of you find yourself in unexpected financial circumstances, there is a student welfare fund, and that students can apply to that with the support of their student advisor. So if that's you, if that happens, hopefully it won't over the course of this academic year. But if it does, again, check in and I can talk you through how to apply. So finally, really just a reminder, I'm here to support you. I'm very conscious the last 18 months might have been full of plenty of challenges, and it was a really difficult time for an awful lot of students for many different reasons, and we may not have seen kind of the full impact of that for a while yet. So if you do find yourself in need of support, please do get in touch. We're here to support you. I hope you have a wonderful and very rewarding time here at UCD, and I'm looking forward to meeting you all over the next academic year. All right, I'm going to hand you back to Katie.
Julia and John, thank you very much for that presentation. I am risking turning my camera back on, but if my connection goes, can someone please interrupt me? I would like to invite all of our panelists to turn back on their cameras and unmute themselves, because we have a number of questions that have come through. I appreciate we're running over time, so if any of our panelists need to head to another meeting, that's totally understandable. Firstly, just a quick question I'll take. A lot of people asking about WhatsApp groups and how they can connect with their fellow classmates. I think the best way to do that is to be sure that you attend your program advisory session. So if you, for example, are signed up for engineering management, you will have a program advisory session just for engineering management. That'll be hosted by your program director, and all your classmates will be attending that, and it'll be quite informal. It'll be on Zoom. And that is a good opportunity to discuss maybe setting up a WhatsApp group or meeting separately as students. So I think that's the best way to do it. Additionally, what I might ask Michelle to do is pop the link to the list of program advisory sessions in the chat, because you should have received that. It is very important you attend. We have a specific question for someone who says they have their program advisory session at 9:30, but they have a class at 10 a.m. Your program director would be aware of your timetable, so I would imagine that 30 minutes is sufficient. If it's not, please arrange at the end to make a separate appointment. I'm just going to try and have a quick look. Michelle, I might go to you on this one. Someone is asking about how they can access their timetable and what is the best way to look in on that. I know you've been involved with supporting students in registration, so I'll let you go with that if you don't mind.
Sure. Hi, everybody. So to access your timetable, you need to log on to ucd.ie/connect and go into your SysWeb account. And under there, you'll find your program specific timetable. So once you've registered to your specific modules, that's where your timetable will be. You can download it from there. If there's any problems at all, just send me an email and I'll look into it for you.
Thanks, Michelle. And while I have you unmuted there, a few questions coming in about when and how and where to collect the student U card, which we know every student needs.
Yeah, so there's a number of steps that you need to complete first. Again, that's online underneath your student account, underneath your SysWeb account. And once you've completed those steps, the UCAR team will send you a specific time when you can come and collect your card from them.
Thanks, Michelle. Lara, somebody is asking, I know you've mentioned the Facebook, they're asking, is there any Instagram or Twitter that they should be following specific for your group?
Not for immigration, no. We have the Facebook group. That's where I will post our news, but we don't have yet the Instagram or Twitter.
Not yet. So watch
Not
this
yet.
space.
Yeah, we do have UCD Global that posts a lot of very interesting content especially for international students. So I definitely advise everyone to follow them, but not immigration specifically yet.
Excellent. So I think it's key that everyone joins the Facebook group if it's relevant to you. Nicola, somebody is asking regarding the career seminars on the 28th and 29th, will they be recorded and available to anyone unavailable to attend?
Thanks, Katie. Yeah, there's a few different elements. So it's not something that will just be recorded and you just access the whole thing. There'll be webinars that would be available later on, but there'll also be opportunities to interact with employers and to interact with people currently kind of working in the companies. So that has to be done live. What I would say is the week before the recruitment fairs take place, you can log in and you can see exactly who's going to be there. So all the employers will already set up their stands, so they'll already have their basic information and maybe things like jobs posted. And then you can actually set up your profile so you have everything kind of ready to go on the day. So again, you can, there will be webinars throughout the day, but I suppose a lot of the value of the day really is that opportunity to actually interact directly with employers and to ask questions or to get a little bit of advice maybe on things like the application process. So the days themselves are both last from 11 o'clock till 3 o'clock. So hopefully at some point over that block of time, you'd be able to pop in for 10 minutes. So again, if you have your profile set up in advance, you wouldn't have to do a lot once you actually get in there. So that's, I suppose, the answer.
That's good advice, Nicola. David, Timoney, potentially one for you. Somebody is wondering if lecture notes will be posted before lectures start.
Yeah, I mean, the objective, I think, for all module coordinators is to post typically PDF versions of lecture slides up in advance. I mean, sometimes it might not be very much in advance. I have been known to repair the lecture notes up to 10 minutes before the session, but no, that was the general plan. They would be on the Brightspace website. And for lectures that are recorded, there will be, they'll be recorded through Zoom, and there will be a link to the Zoom recording available through the Brightspace afterwards, but not immediately because it takes a little time to sort that out. But the general plan is, yes, indeed, lecture notes are available in full.
Excellent. And maybe just while I have you there, David, someone is asking, can we follow class during self-quarantine?
Well, I suppose the fundamental thing is that we're not doing live broadcasts of lectures. That is UCD policy decision. I mean, everything, the notes will be available and the recordings will be available afterwards, but I suppose there will be a bit of a challenge in the quarantine period. I guess I'm not sure how many will be affected by that, but
sure.
Yeah.
What we have advised students, because we know some students have been caught out with the time frame of having to quarantine and missing classes and flights and so on, is that if you're in that situation, please reach out to either myself, Laura, and Michelle. And what is happening is we are informing your program director of your delayed presence to class. Additionally, we would then ask you to reach out to each of your module coordinators to advise them and seek how you can keep as up to date as possible when you are in that situation, because there will be, or possibly could be, some things you could be doing yourself while quarantining. And then of course it is a student's responsibility to ensure that they are all caught up. But if you have any queries, concerns, you can reach out to the program office, to Sue and her team, to anyone on here today as well. So again, if in doubt, do ask. Michelle, I think it was Sue who may have emphasized the point that we need students to be checking your UCD Connect email, because that is the official line of communication. Somebody's having a little bit of difficulty connecting to their email. Can you offer any advice, Michelle, at the moment?
That's Aoife, I think, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so if you just send me an email, I can have a look at it for you. But usually the logon is your student number, and then the password is your date of birth in the format day, month, year. So
perfect.
If you use that and you're still having problems, just contact me directly at michelle.matthews@ucd.ie, and I can look at it for you. But it's really important that you keep checking your Connect email. Once you have an accepted offer and you have a student number, all communications move over to your UCD Connect email. So you will not get any emails from UCD into your personal account from that.
Thanks, Michelle. Someone has also just advised that the ME Mechanical Engineering, I don't think the time and date has been confirmed for their program advisory. So I'm assuming that that's forthcoming. Is that correct?
It is, and as soon as I have that, I will have it updated on the website. I will need to contact the program director again today just to confirm a time with them.
Thank you. And Sue, I know you've answered this online already, but a lot of queries around the type of software available in UCD, but I think the link you've sent is probably the best place to go. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, some students are asking about things like Photoshop and InDesign. I wouldn't have an idea about that. You'd need to look up the link that I've just posted. There's a lot of software that UCD offers because it's been licensed to the university, but similarly, there are many, many applications that UCD doesn't have university licenses for. If there is additional software that a teacher is requiring students to have, that particular school may have access to licenses as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. And just while I have you there as well, someone is asking about when will they be informed about recognition of prior learning acceptance?
Recognition of prior learning is subject to approval by the relevant program board. So it depends on when the application was submitted. I presume it would have been coordinated through Michelle. So as long as it reaches the papers for the program boards, I would imagine most students, if they've applied for recognition of prior learning, that will all be resolved by October, because we have program boards coming up in the next, or a student applications committee relevant to the program boards coming up during the month of September.
Thanks, Sue. Michelle, a question for you from Joseph. They're asking for a letter saying that all their fees have been paid. Is there a document that they can upload or download to support that part of their fees have been paid?
Yeah, so if they again go onto their SIS web account, all the information is there. So any payments that have been made, they can print out a statements sheet. I'm not sure of the exact name of the file, but they can get the information in the SIS web account.
Brilliant. And again, if you have any difficulties with that, you can reach out to any of us and we'll direct you. Laura, I might go to you. A specific question from Pierre in biopharmaceutical. He's coming from France, he's fully vaccinated, and he's wondering about a 14-day self-quarantine. Would you have any information on that? And also, can he miss some early classes?
Yeah, sure. So if he is fully vaccinated with an EU approved vaccine, which I'm guessing from France he would be, he doesn't need to do the 14-day mandatory hotel quarantine. Once he has the documentation to prove that he is fully vaccinated, he doesn't have to do that.
Brilliant. And just on missing classes?
Yeah, then we just mentioned it previously. So if there's any particular cases where you think you will miss 1 or 2 days of classes, I suppose with traveling over, just to reach out to us directly, and that we can let your program coordinator know, and then also tell you a little bit more information about your modules and things like that. But the least amount of class that you can miss obviously is preferable, but we know that this instance is this year is a little bit difficult for some. So just to reach out to us directly.
Thanks, Laura. And just while I have you there, 2 quick questions. Someone asking about car park permits, and someone asking, is there secure bike parking over in Richview campus?
Yeah, so UCD, as far as bikes go, is very, very friendly to cyclists. There are plenty of bike secure lockers and plenty of places to park bikes widely across the campus, and many of our students choose to use bikes to get around. Yeah, and sorry, the other one, I didn't quite catch the first one, Katie.
Car park permit.
Yep, there are car park permits available to staff and students as well.
And you do that all online. It's not a physical permit. It's just that your registration number is recognized. Michelle, I might just switch back to you for this question. Someone is asking about uploading for document verification. They're advising that the secure link from their institution's end will not work. They're wondering who or where could they drop them into campus?
They can do. So the student desk will take copies in, or take verification documents in. I can put up a link there in the chat box just to direct students where to go.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure who's best placed to answer this question, perhaps Nicola. Someone is wondering, how easy is it to organize an official internship if my program has no module program, but I'm interested? So obviously,
Katie, sorry, this is Sue. I'll just interject there. If the program has no internship, the student in question could talk to their program director, but from our college's point of view, there wouldn't be any facility for us to organise an official internship through the internship managers on the College of Engineering and Architecture team. But if the student speaks to their programme director, they could possibly get some guidance regarding where to apply, and then also maybe talking to Nicola and the careers team. But as regards whether it would be official, it wouldn't be attached to the student's transcript or anything like that.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Just another question, and maybe Michelle, you might pop up a link to this. Someone's asking about the closing date for paying tuition fees, and I know that they're laid out on ucd.ie/fees, so that the student could look at that as well, which would be very useful. And then Laura, someone, I'm assuming it's an international student, they're asking about the opportunities to work part-time, either in UCD itself, and I'm guessing also outside UCD.
Sure, yeah. So for international students who are on a stamp 2, they're legally allowed to work 20 hours per week during the term, and that goes up to 40 hours a week outside term time. As far as opportunities available on campus part-time work, there are a number of instances where we've had students in the past do either lab assistant, research assistant, teaching assistant. Some of those would be posted online, otherwise it's good to get to know your program coordinators and your module coordinators, because they'd have a bit more ear to the ground on those type of things. But then we also have a number of cafes and student union shops on campus that would employ some students as well. And then we do find that many students outside campus go to work in bars, restaurants, shops and things like that, that can be a little bit more flexible with their timetable as well.
Thanks a million, Laura. I'm not sure who could answer this question. I don't know the answer. I possibly should. Someone is saying they are registered with the HSE for their first dose, but could they attend the UCD walk-in instead?
My understanding from what I know, and this is not official, I'm not working for the health centre, but what I have heard is that the walk-in, the vaccination centre will remain open until the end of September. You might find contacting the UCD Health Centre for more information helpful with that.
And also I see John, thank you very much, has posted up a link because you can actually book through the pharmacy services, which I'd forgotten about. So thank you very much, John, for that. I also have somebody asking, when will we be contacted by our professors about where lectures will take place, such as the building information and the lecture room? I don't know if Sue perhaps wants to answer that, or Michelle.
Yes, it's already in the student's calendar. Once a student has completed their online registration, there is a link to your timetable, and your timetable will indicate the locations as to where the lectures will be taking place. All the locations, whether it's for a lab or a tutorial, they're all associated with the student timetable.
Yeah, so it's all generated once you have selected your modules. Yes. We'd also advise that you continually check that in case there is suddenly a change to a room. But if you are having difficulty locating that, get in touch. But I see David wants to come in on that.
Yeah. Oh, just briefly, the code on the timetabling may be a little bit cryptic. For example, if it says Eng 135, that's room 135 in the engineering building, and there's equivalent codes right throughout the campus. So it's cryptic. I'm sure there's a guide somewhere.
Yeah, you'll get used to it, no doubt, pretty quickly. Go ahead, John.
To say on that, on your timetable, it does say the building's full name. Yeah. It's just, we'll refer to the room.
Yeah, there is a link from the timetable to the building codes, I think.
Excellent. Someone's asking if they haven't received their U card, can they still attend the lectures? I think that's a unanimous yes. Your U card is not checked for actual lecture attendance. And Michelle, this is just back to similar question you answered previously. Someone's saying they have a hard copy university certificate for their BE degree. Where and when are they supposed to hand it in?
So I put the link in there to the document verification page, and basically you hand your documents in the Timoney building. So the student desk in the Timoney building is on the main, it's in the main campus in Belfield. So there's no specific timelines, but I know that the sooner you get your document verification in, the sooner you can see everything, as in, when grades become available, that kind of thing. So unless you have your documents verified, you won't be able to have access to your grades once they've been released. I'm right in saying that, Sue?
That's correct. And I think that I'm not sure whether excuse me, the UCD student desk is actually taking face-to-face callers right now. But they do have a chatbot, and the query can be submitted through that, and they will get back to you as to whether you need to make an appointment to come in and drop in your documentation, or what facility they have in place. It could also be linked from that page. I'm just not familiar with the contents of the link you sent.
There's also a lot of questions coming in around what documents need to be verified. So what I might ask Michelle to do is, there's actually a very good page on the UCD website which has a full outline of all of that. So if you could pop that up for everyone, that would be great. This is a question really for David or John. If a lecturer's place and time changes suddenly, is the SysWeb timetable self-check, is it the only way to check this change, or will they be contacted in any other way if there's a sudden change?
The timetable for everything is absolutely fixed at the beginning of the year. Everything is so modular and so interconnected that changes at the last minute are just not possible. A change in venue might be, but that would also be rare. Beware sometimes, by the way, that the venue for a particular class can move from one building to the other week by week. It's not guaranteed to be in the same position for every week of the year.
Excellent, thank you. Someone's asking, is it easy to swap modules during the semester? They failed to register for a module they wanted because it said course full, and they're wondering if they could be assisted. I might ask Michelle or Sue to jump in.
Answer that.
Yes, please.
It depends on the module in question. So if the student could identify the module and make submit the question through the UCD College of Engineering and Architecture connection, we'll be able to advise accordingly, because we have to look into that as to whether it would be possible to make places available. And it depends on whether the student is taking the module as a core or an option module as to whether they may be eligible for a place. And similarly, there's other issues and that we may have to advise upon.
Thanks a million, Sue. And Michelle has popped up the relevant link there. So I'd suggest anyone with document verification questions, please refer to this as well. Someone is asking about they need a valid English language test. Can you pass it in UCD during the semester? No, you need to pass that if you have English language requirements as part of your conditions. That needs to be passed in advance of commencement. If you have questions around that, please email myself, Michelle, or Laura directly. I'll ask you to pop up our email addresses, and we'll see what we can do to support you. Someone else, do we need to carry any documentations on the first day if we did not get our U card? My understanding is no. You don't need to carry official documentations. You need to, I suppose, be familiar with your timetable to understand where you're going, and maybe download the UCD app, because there's a very good map on that as well. And also that also has a lot of the contacts as well for you. Sorry, there's loads of questions coming in, so I'm kind of answering these on the fly. Someone is asking, I was pre-registered for my modules and I have 2 classes on my timetable that overlap. Will this cause any issues? Again, Sue, you might want to jump in on that one.
I'm sorry, I missed that question. I was just looking at it.
No problem. Someone is pre-registered for their modules and they have 2 classes on the timetable that overlap. Will this cause an issue?
Not if they are both core modules and the student has been pre-selected for them. The timetabling has been fixed in the background, so there shouldn't be an issue with that.
If they're core modules?
If they're core modules. And the student, so they would be core modules if the student is pre-selected for the modules.
This one is a little bit left field. I'm not sure this is possible, but I'm going to ask it. Someone wants to register for German classes at UCD as well. Bearing in mind that these are all talk grad students, they'd be grateful for any guidance on this.
A student can contact the UCD Applied Language Centre in relation to taking a language module, but unless the module is specifically associated with their program, as a graduate taught student, you cannot take an elective in a language module, unless that's, you could speak to your program director and make a case for it being directly relevant to your program, but I would suspect that might not be a runner.
Yeah, there may also be relevant societies in UCD that might be of interest. I know people interested in learning Irish, for example, they run particular classes, so that's always worth checking out, but obviously it's outside the official credit system of your program. This is a question perhaps for David or John Healy, because you can decode this for the student. Their timetable, their environmental policy and planning, which I appreciate is neither of your areas, but it says STU 3 PEP, so STU 3 PEP. Does that mean? Yeah.
Sorry, I just answered that and I hope I answered it correctly.
Brilliant. You're well ahead of us. So the answer
Sorry.
is yes, it is Studio 3 in the planning and environmental policy. I think, as John and David pointed out, UCD does have its own language, something you'll get familiar with. And if in doubt, reach out to any of us here on the call. I'll take one final Q&A. Someone is just asking, I'm doing the 2-year MRUP, so should I plan anything for the summer trimester, such as an internship? When should I start planning this, and what supports are there? I wonder if that's something maybe, Nicola, you'd want to jump in, and obviously it's outside the official, but they're obviously looking for an opportunity to boost their potential career prospects.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose once you start your course, you're going to know more about your availability and things like that. But assuming you have the summers free, then I would very strongly recommend looking for an internship or some relevant experience. So it's something that you can start to plan from as soon as you're ready to. So if you want to do the basics along the lines of actually researching key employers in the area. So if you have an idea of what kind of job you want to work in or internship you want to work in, so you want to figure out who those employers are. So for instance, you might do things like obviously talk to your lecturers and your course director, but you might also do things like go into LinkedIn and go up and do an alumni search. So if you put in University College Dublin in the search box, and then it'll bring up all of the alumni in UCD who have a LinkedIn account, then you can filter by what they studied. So for instance, you can put in your course title there, and then you can see where they're currently working. And you might find some employers that are quite interesting to you, as well as some job titles maybe that you would expect and some you wouldn't. So ideally you'd make a bit of a target list. So you'd have a list of companies that you actually want to work for, and then you'd start developing your application. So obviously you need to do quite a bit of research on each company. Do things like get ready your CV. So for instance, doing things like the CV 360, making an appointment with ourselves to get your CV checked. I'm kind of going from there. So I would say, I suppose, starting off with research, you can start that from right now. If you have an idea of where you want to go, if it's useful, come in and have a chat with us, either to get feedback on your CV or to have a general talk to say you don't know where to start, or you're at this point and which is the best next step.
Brilliant, Nicola. I think there's some really good advice there. I'm going to wrap it up there today. Thank you so much for all of your time, to all my panelists, and also to you, the students, for taking the time out. We hope this has given you some very useful information to get you started. I think the overriding message from every single speaker today is, if in doubt, please reach out to us. We're here to support you as you commence this wonderful journey into the next stage of your education. We very much look forward to welcoming you and seeing you on campus in the very near future. Please take our email addresses down, which Michelle has popped up into the chat, and feel free to contact us at any point. So